Hi, it's Peggy from the Pearl Forest, and today I'm going to show you a little bit of a journal that I'm working on. It's a Bible study one of mine having to do with prophecy. I've used a paper scrapbook paper for the cover. I've gone through and distressed all the pages, and some of the pages already have things on them because I had gone ahead. This is, well, we'll do a flip through later, but there's 3 pockets and I just have some blank things on there at the moment. I used a curly ruler to make a border for this. I have some things waiting to be written on, and I have a number of blank pages. Then I also have part of what was a very large poster size study paper that my dad had made, and I traced part of it and then with pencil and then wrote over it with ink. It needs to be touched up a little bit so it showed different parts in order, and there's lots of room for additional work. And then I thought it was going to be difficult to write small enough the scriptures I wanted to write out, so this is an idea. I took 2 of the same Bibles from the dollar store so that I could have a right-hand page and a left-hand page and therefore get the entire thing. And so I can then find my scriptures that I want to highlight in here. For this one, this page has to do with the 7 churches in the first part of Revelation. And so I cut those out in such a way that they showed the first Revelation 2 and 3. Put them on in columns small enough that they would fit in my book. And in this case, the first column was shorter, so I have extra decorative paper. But in all cases, if there's more than one page, I've stapled them. This one has 2 staples, but later I went to 1 staple. And then the decorative paper I just wrapped around. I meant to tell you where I got this paper. I will do that in a future walkthrough. So then this is just a double pocket, and there's, in all of it in here, it's really a work in progress, so I needed room to add more things. So, like I have cards, that I can use and things like that. These are some pieces that we're going to use. I'll show you how I did the Bible verse part. But let's go ahead and bind the book first. So I used, I believe, 15 pieces of paper. These are just a bunch of extras that I might use in here, I might not. I tried to make it all very neutral, vintage, black, white, gray, brown, so that it would, seem kind of historical. Let's see, I think we'll bind it with a brown. Are these different? They are a little bit. I think this one actually matches a little better, but I like the other one. I don't know why. So I think I'm going to go with this one. So for binding, this is wax linen thread. You can find it on Amazon. And I got it from Gail Agustinelli's Favorite Things, in case you want to go there. She's a great website. So we want 3, and you can benefit her a little bit by doing that. 3 links of our wax linen thread. We'll just snip that off. We need, sorry, I'm still banging my head on that. We need 4 binder clips and our pokey tool and our needle. So first of all, the binder clips and the pokey tool. So we want to get these all lined up well. If you have smaller things in there, you want to line them up well. You want to make sure that none of your things, if you already have stuff in here, is not in the way of the spine, because you don't want to bind a journal card into your spine. See, this now could have been, you know, put in the spine, but I'm going to leave it in the pocket because I don't know where I want things exactly yet. As I find with study things for me, that it's best to have pockets and tucks and movable stuff so I have the flexibility. Okay, I think that might have moved a little bit. Let me not talk while I'm doing it. So I use my finger, my thumbnail, to poke that in really tight and put this on. Go to the opposite corner. Oops, that's okay. And tuck that once again in really tight. Put on the binder clip, and then go back its opposite, well, back to the other side, the one we haven't done. It's important to get that in there so it sits well into the spine. So the center of our book, we've got it hooked together into our spine, and now we're going to poke holes. You want to kind of bring it together. You don't want to poke your hand. Sometimes you can poke it into something like a phone book or an old paperback, or if you have one of Crafty Cat USA's cradles, those work really good, I understand. I was not able to get one of those yet. I'm going about 1 inch in from this edge. And by closing it, you're more apt to come out the spine, which is what you want. Okay. Seems like this is pulling out a little bit. All right, so we thread our needle. And we go down the middle from the inside out. And it doesn't really matter whether it's top or bottom. This is the top, but that's okay. You just want to have a, you know, whatever, enough of a length here to be able to tie. We want to go back up this hole. Just find our hole. I think we kind of slipped a little bit here. There we go. So now we have a line across there. Now we're going to go back down this hole, but I'm pulling this over tight so that I don't poke my needle through the thread. We want to be on the other side of that thread. And then we're going to go back up our third hole. Okay, it's good to have these on separate sides from each other. So since this is on this side, I'm going to go through and put this on the other side, and we're done with our needle. And we want this to be really tight, so we want to tighten it up well, and then tie a knot. Feel that it's tight, yep. There we go. Now you can just leave these loose for now. You might hook something dangling out. It's nicer if they're uneven. I mean, even more even. Mine are uneven. But I think in this instance, I'm just going to go ahead and cut them off shorter than I would if I was going to put something on them, and I might tie a bow in here or something else and just leave them. Okay, so that's all it is. We're now have our book all together, so we can take these back off. And I find it's nice to have kits for something that you use regularly, whether it's Stack-A-Whack cards or sewing your journal together or anything like that, and pretty much have everything you need in a pouch or a box or something so that you can just grab and go. So here's our journal, and this is the title page. I've just made some coffee dyed paper and different links. For this, I just cut rectangles to make the pockets, and this one I made it go down far enough that it was over the edge, and this one far enough that it was there. So we have a pocket here, and I just for now stuck the black one in there. We have a little bit shorter one that's here. It's kind of fun to alternate them. And then we have an even shorter one. And what I'm going to put on these, I don't know yet. And this is a little longer. I'd probably shorten it if it was going to be there. So that's kind of my title page. I've left myself lots of room to work. These are not distressed around, but they're just some possible items I might put in a pocket. I have more pages to do things with. Here's the first part of the traced part, and I have this pocket, which we'll probably talk about the birth of Christ and his resurrection and his ministry. Some more blank. Here's a pocket here that can talk about this portion. And then I've gone along and done the scripture parts, more room to write, more empty pockets still, and here and this one. And the thank you won't probably stay there, but that's just the card that I have. And then we get over to here, and I've done those, and I've done these and these. And this is part of a file folder. I just made a tuck. This is how it looks when I've penciled it. I haven't traced it yet. And more blank spaces available, more tracing that needs. And here's an example. I think that's, oh, here they are. The it would continue like that, but they were in 2 columns. So these are the scriptures that would go here. So then I cut these at 2 3/4 so that they were a little bigger. They could have been a tad smaller, but that's what I've done consistently, so I'm going to stick with that. So this is how I made them. I just could have used a glue page, but for this part I did not. So for one column, or my little tag part, and for these I may go back and make a tag angled top on them. I haven't decided. I'm going to say this says 7, and that's the same part here. So you want to make sure you get the right sides. Yeah, verse 9 and verse 10. So I want to glue this side. And all of these that I've cut were the 8.5 inch direction, which is longer than we want, but it's good to have that to work with. Okay, so I smoothed that out. I figured out which one is the longest one, which would be this one. Line them up together. Didn't matter which is on top at this point. I just want the longest one. Then I've just cut a little bit above the longest one. Save these for future things. Now this is the one I want on the top, so that works out well. Otherwise, I would just swap them back around. So to keep them together, I pretty much have done it by chapter for Revelation because it's just easier for studying then. I have cut some of this lacy digital paper, the right width for these So I kind of just figure out what I need and how much I might want to wrap around. And so that's 1 3/8. And you can eyeball this, or you can measure, whichever you would like to do. And this just becomes the topper. It's kind of a unified look throughout the journal by having this one set of digitals, they're lacy paper, as my toppers. They vary from item to item. So then I just line this up above whatever I want on this side, and whatever is left in the various amount, I just wrap around. Now, I could have put these scriptures back to back, but I opted to put them on with blank backs on all of them, so that that would be another journaling spot for me to go in there and add things, although I can put other tags and cards in there. And then for each of these, I just distressed them. This is a new distress tool I just got. It's by Ranger Inks, Tim Holtz, and it's a mini one. My other one had the foam had came apart, and I didn't know where my replacement ones were because my situation is such that I don't know yet. I also did a little bit under that edge. Anyway, so I decided to just order a new set and some more replacement parts because they do wear out and you can use different ones with different colors. They do just Velcro on here. And the other size, which was really easy to store under the bottom of here. You could put them on. Of the small ones, they fit exactly. These now, they're so small, I'm not sure how I would store them except leave them on a handle, but I only have 2 handles and I have a whole bunch of the other pieces, so I'll have to work that out. And they're kind of rounded, which is different. The other ones were flat, but they seem to work good. And even though they're quite a bit smaller, since you're really mostly just doing this, I think it works good. And I think this rounder style might be nicer if you're using them with stencils. We'll have to try them out. I still have some of the old ones with other colors. So maybe we'll do an experiment one day with the stencils and such to see how they work. But anyway, I knew I had this big project and other ones where I really needed something, so I went ahead and ordered them. This is one of my coffee dyed papers. And so there you go. And I have everything hooked together, which is nice. I still have tracings. This is a card I stuck in to possibly use. I have all of these scriptures and another card still to do, but we're well on our way. And it already is looking a little chunky, but not too bad. And I think it's going to be fun to work in. So I hope you enjoyed me bringing you along for this. And let me know if you'd like to see more on this journal. I will be doing additional journals in the near future. This is Peggy from the Pearl Forest. Hope you have a great day.